Hi guys, I'm Owen and this is my YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about football and the championship predictions that I think will happen next season for the 2019-20 season. So we've got for number one position, we've got Leeds United, and because of last season they've done wonderful. They got to the playoffs. Unfortunately they lost out to Derby, but they were a pretty decent side, so I think they will probably do well next season. We'll see what happens with them and whoever they sign. My number two position is a surprise, and I think it's going to be Charlton Athletic. They have done really well last season to beat Sunderland, and not just that, they've got the best players that I think can actually do well next season. So you never know, they could do well. And my number three position is Middlesbrough. Even though they missed out on the playoffs last season, they had a strong start and then they sort of collapsed at the end of the season, which kind of gave them a chance at the end, but they still didn't get there. So I'm predicting they will do well next season. So that's my number three position. My number four position is West Bromwich Albion, because they've got Jay Rodriguez, but if he goes, then they might struggle. So they've got to keep going on with the team that they've currently got, and he's there to help them. So that's why I think they've got a good team to have with him. So my number fifth position is Derby County. Now they just got lost out to Aston Villa last season. They've got a really good manager, Frank Lampard. He's probably one of the best in England, and he might go to Chelsea. We never know, but he did well last season with a really young team. They had positive players. They never gave up. They surprised Leeds, and they were nearly there. So I think they will do well and get to the top six. Is my prediction for them. For the sixth position and final spot, I think it's between QPR, Fulham and Cardiff. Now one of them could do well with the players they have. They could either do well, have a chance, or try their best. So I am predicting that one of the three will do well next season. So that is my prediction for the top six. I think to fill in the rest of positions, I think that number 7 could be Fulham, like I said, or QPR or Cardiff, and that's why I think they could do well, one of those three, and get into the playoffs, and possibly they could go on and win. And I'm also predicting that for the 11th position and the 10th position and the 9th position, that Swansea will fill 9th because they've just appointed a new manager. Sheffield Wednesday might creep in, but they've got an outside chance. And I think Huddersfield, I know they didn't do well last season in the Premier League, but with the goalkeeper they signed this season, Jamal Lascelles, and the rest of the players, they could surprise everyone and go up. So that's what I think with them. I also think that Stoke, I know they bought quality players last season, but this season you'd expect them to get top 10, top 11, something like that, because they've actually got really good players. But don't be too surprised with them. They could possibly get second or third. They could do anything that could do well for them. But with Stoke, I'm a bit concerned with their defence, so I don't really know what they're going to get for next season, so who knows. For my 13th position, I think Bristol City will do well. They've got a really good player, and they've got the team that can actually win their position in their league, because they've just got really good defenders who are going away to Premier League clubs. And they've just got a really good team that the manager really likes playing with. When they're playing at home and away, they're very consistent, winning these games. So they might do well for next season, and that's really good news for them. My next team, I think, is going to be Brentford. I think they're obviously leaving Griffin next season, and they're going to a new stadium, but they're actually going to have a really good time next season. They're probably going to surprise everyone with the players they've got, and they've just signed Christian Nogard, and he could add in the goals next season, and you never know where they could finish, because they are one of the best teams with their players. If Mapai goes, you never know, they could struggle, but regardless of if he goes, they have got the replacements, and they could actually possibly surprise you with the results they get. And it will be, because it's their last season at Griffin, they will obviously try and do their best and not give up in every single game they try and get a game and win. So that's why I'm thinking they will do pretty well next season, and hopefully if they keep their players, current players, they might get probably top 6, but it could be anything really good for them for next season, so that there are positive results going to happen for next season for Brentford, I think. So yeah. My next team is Blackburn Rovers. I think they're going to get 14th, and I think that they have got the team. They've got Bradley Dack, they've got lots of players. If they lose them, they could probably struggle next season. And David Raya, who's linked to Brentford, and other players who might go, who knows with them. But I am thinking it's going to be that hard for them if they lose key players like Dack and David Raya to other clubs. So who knows in their transfer window if they're going to buy anyone from the ins and outs of their team. And now we move on to Nottingham Forest. Now they've got Martin O'Neill. He's a brilliant manager. He did well for Northern Ireland. He will probably do well next season, but they need to cash in on other players that can do well for them. They've got Matty Cash. They've got lots of really quality players. So it's a good prospect for them, and they could actually surprise, who knows, in the Championship, and they could just, with their players, Joe Lolly and a lot of quality players, they could actually do really well next season. So it's on the positive side. They need to keep their players. Otherwise, I think they're probably going to struggle next season and then probably won't get top 6. So that's my prediction for Nottingham Forest. My 16th position is Birmingham City. Now, last season they had a deduction points, and they were in the playoffs last season. They kind of nearly got there, but unfortunately they just ran out of time at the end, and they just really struggled. And then obviously they've kept their manager. They've got Gary Gardner from another team, and then they've moved on, and possibly they could stay in their division, hopefully. And with the deduction points from last season, they'll know for next season that they can carry on, not lose any points, and probably go out, leapfrog QPR, West Brom, and other teams in that division. So that's my 16th position. My 17th position is Preston North End. Now, if they keep their players, they are obviously going to do well, but last season they had a mixture of results from the back of the season. They kind of struggled, and for the timings, they tried to, at the end, to mix the players with youngsters and different players, but it didn't really seem to work. So they could, for next season, have an opportunity for their young players to possibly do a Derby County for next season. So you never know. It's good, like I said, prospects for them, and they've got lots of players coming up and down from their team who could possibly go to the Premiership in the future. So it's very positive for Preston, but they lose the players, they could struggle and be in the bottom 4 for next season. My position number 18 is Wigan Athletic, and I think that they are probably going to struggle next season. They're my concern next season. They haven't got enough money next season to buy quality players. So they could sell their key players and still struggle. So it's a really big concern for next season for them. And for the 19th position, I'm thinking Hull City, because they've got Jarrod Bowen, but obviously he could, if he goes, who are they going to replace? So they're probably going to want to keep him, but then also if he goes, they're probably going to struggle. So I think they're going to struggle next season without him if he goes. So my 20th position is Luton Town. Now they've only just come up, so they've done well, but they need to keep their best players, and they need more players that can probably surprise that league, because they've only just come up and they've done it twice. They could do a treble, so who knows with Luton, but it's going to be tough at their stadium to win games, so it could be anything for next season for them. My number 21 position is Millwall. Now Millwall last season got to the FA Cup, they played well, lost to Everton, beat Everton, and they did well, but got to the quarterfinals and lost. So I'm just concerned about them. They haven't really got good players, so they need to hopefully get players who can help them survive the championship next season. So it needs to happen for them, I think. Otherwise, they're going down. My number 23 position and 22 position is Reading. Reading, 2 years ago, were close to the Premier League. Now they could, in this league, they could either struggle because they've got players with wages demands and stuff, so they could struggle. But also my other concern for them is they lack a goal scorer in their team. They need someone who's got the quality, who's got the assistants, who can possibly save them for next season. So who knows what happens with them? And I'm really concerned about Barnsley for next season. I just don't. I know they just came up, but you don't know if they're gonna struggle, win a game. So I'm hoping next season that they actually do well, and that could possibly save them if they do well for next season. So yeah, leave some thoughts with me, and hopefully you press the subscribe button down below this link. So thank you very much.